Okay, so here comes to our third and final speaker's sharing by Kish Vin. So ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea if you have seen Kish Vin before, but I can tell you he's been super active on Facebook if you don't already know who he is. Kish is a serial entrepreneur, an international award-winning MC, and a professional speaker who travels around the globe to speak about what he is most passionate about. Kish is also the founder and charter president of Fusion Inspired Toastmasters Club. He's currently area director and incoming division director. And also, Kish also would like to bring his wealth of knowledge on and off stage to us and will display how and why Toastmasters has played an integral role in his professional life today. If there's one word for me to describe Kish, later you'll feel it with me, which is passion. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome this passionate kind of a guy, Kish Vin. Why Toastmasters? Why Toastmasters? Kish Vin. Over to you, man.
Right, guys, fantastic. I know it's getting late and some of you are already like that in your chair. Well, give me some time. Now, what's interesting is I was given this topic, they said, hey, Kish, you're going to speak about this topic. Can you speak about why Toastmasters? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do this. But the next question that came up was, how much time do I have? Well, the time that was given to me was about 15 to 20 minutes. Wow, that's a challenge. Now, I'm going to tell you why that's a challenge. But before I go on today, now allow me to just ask a question right now, right? How many of you here, you feel really nervous or you feel that you have a fear of public speaking, or when you speak in a crowd, or when you're speaking to a crowd? How many of you have that, right? Fantastic. Now, what I've, if you have heard Joe introduce me, right? Yes, I hold the Malaysia Book of Records for speaking 15 hours non-stop, right? And this was 17 years ago. I kept talking and talking and talking for 15 hours. Well, they had a term or a rule that if I were to pause for 5 seconds, I would be disqualified. So I had to literally just keep talking and talking and talking and talking. So when they gave me 15 minutes, I was like, okay, guys, are you all ready for a 15-hour session tonight? Can I see the raise, like you guys raise your hands? No, no one's ready for a 15-hour session. That's really cool. Now, being a person who's always on stage, being a person who has experiences in emceeing, in hosting TV shows, the radio, acting eventually a little bit, and then the question arises, and that's a very good question that I got, like, why Toastmasters? Now, I'm a person who is not afraid of the crowd. I love the stage. I look forward to engaging with a crowd, and just like what I'm doing right now, it is something that I totally enjoy, and that is something that I love doing every single day. Now, the question is this: why Toastmasters? Right. So we have two words here. Why Toastmasters? Let's focus on the word why. Not just Toastmasters, but why. Why are we doing this? Why am I doing this? And why am I in Toastmasters? The Golden Circle by Simon Sinek. And if you have read his book, I think it's a really awesome book. And it brought me back to this question as to why. And I asked myself this question as well. I realized that I have 3 stages in life, in my Toastmasters life, that has a different explanation to why. The why resonates very differently in these 3 stages. So very quickly, I hope that you will follow me on this journey tonight as we go through 3 different stages, stage 1, 2, and 3, to understand why Toastmasters, Kish, why Toastmasters. Now, stage 1 is when I joined Toastmasters about 5 years ago. Why did I join Toastmasters back then? The second stage, which is why, and why am I still in Toastmasters, and what am I still doing here in Toastmasters while I'm still here? And number 3 is now and the future. This is stage 3, now and the future. So, when I first joined Toastmasters, this was my why. It was for me to improve my communication skills. Right. So I told you a story about a person who's always enjoyed speaking, and that person is me. 15 hours, I could just go on and on and on and on, you know, like a Tamil movie, right? Go on, long songs, movie again, fight, movie again, songs, you know, that kind of thing. So I just could go on and on and on, just speaking and speaking and talking and talking. But the question is this: after I've joined Toastmasters, I understood that speaking a lot, or even for that matter, speaking long, doesn't mean that you're connecting with your audience. So after all that experience, after all that I've done in my professional life back then, I realized that something was missing. And that's my first stage, my stage one as to why I joined Toastmasters, which is to improve my communication skills, the ability to connect, the ability to articulate an idea, to share a message, or to even tell a story. Now, what's interesting in my first the first year in Toastmasters, when I joined Toastmasters in this club, I only did technical roles, all right? So I never took up speech slots. I never did table topics. For one whole year, I just came and I watched, I observed. I was the grammarian, I was the R counter, I was the timekeeper, and I was just excited. I was this little kid that was going out there and thinking, wow, this is interesting. I had no one, you know, count R's, you know. I've never had someone who gave a grammarian report, and this was something that was exciting to me. And that is how I slowly started to improve on the way I communicated. Now, being a person who thought talking a lot is the way to communicate, all right? So being a person who thought that the more I speak, the more I was communicating, in my first year as to being a Toastmasters, I learned that observing and listening was actually the foundations of communication. And that's what I learned, and that's how I improved. By observing, by listening, and you realize that what you're doing right now, listening, we are all actually improving on the way we communicate. That totally blew me away. You know why? For the first time, Kish has to shut his mouth to learn that communication is not just talking, but communication is observing and learning. And it was fantastic. I totally enjoyed that. And this brings me to stage two. So stage one was why I joined Toastmasters. Stage two, while I was still in Toastmasters, what was my why? Well, it was simple. I'm starting to enjoy this process. I'm starting to get into this whole Toastmaster thingy, and I was enjoying my personal growth. I believe that learning is a long life lesson. It's a process that continues since we are young as a little kid, an infant, till we grow up an adult, and even we have Toastmasters like DTM, Ramdas Nair, who's still here, you know, very passionate about Toastmasters. And that's the beautiful thing about Toastmasters. It's a continuous learning journey, and I enjoyed my personal growth. Now the question would be, Kish, so how did you learn, or where was this personal growth coming from? Well, I embarked myself on the pathways. Now, some of you might know that I've completed 3 pathways. I'm on my 4th pathway now. I completed 2 pathways in under 6 months, doing about 6 to 7 speeches a week. And I was traveling up and down Malaysia, you know, just looking for speech slots. I know some of you here out there, you can relate. This Kish was always bugging you for speech slots. Thank you very much. I was totally amazed by the 11 path that I got to learn from. And I did effective coaching, leadership development, visionary communication, and now engaging humor. What I learned from this was how pathways helped me to further polish a communicator such as me, a speaker such as me. It gave me ideas. it helped me to put myself in a mold to understand that there are times you will need to pause purposefully. There are times you would need to use vocal varieties to probably tell a story. And all this and more throughout this 11 path, I have learned so much. And until today, it's something that I totally enjoy, and I can't wait to continue to explore this path. And that's what Toastmaster has given me today, this beautiful 11 path. Now, moving on, what I have also learned from just enjoying personal growth. I use the word enjoy personal growth. Why? Because eventually, the more you get into it, you really want to enjoy personal growth. It can't be something that is, like a thing that you need to do. So I took it upon myself as something that I totally enjoyed, and I enjoy doing it till now. Now, in the same stage 2, I developed leadership skills. I was then made a president of my former club, and I understood what it was like not to lead, not to tell people what to do, being a business owner who runs my own business, who has my own team. And I understood that leadership is not telling people what to do. In Toastmasters, I learned that being a servant leader brings more value to the team than a leader who tells you what to do. Now, what am I saying here? In Toastmasters, we get to help each other. We get to help to see each other grow. We are able to assist and do work and also run our clubs, our areas, our division, and eventually the district together. It takes everyone to come together to make it happen. And that is what I learned as a leader, being a president of my club and eventually an area director. There's so much to learn. I know there's so much to do, but there's also so much to learn. And the best part about learning is the ability to deal with people. You know, what is difficult is not the task. The task is actually dealing with people. And I learned to be able to deal with people and to be able to communicate with those around me. And that was wonderful. Now, which brings me to the third stage. Speaking of which, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. And I believe this is something that I've learned in Toastmasters. And we get to help each other to go on the same way, to show the way as a leader. And when we are trying to help others, that's when we grow. And that's the beautiful part of this. Now, let's move on to stage 3 of my Toastmasters life. And stage 3 is now. Stage 3 is now and moving forward. That my why has changed drastically. From just wanting it to be about me, wanting to be a better communicator, wanting to be a leader, wanting to lead, this why has totally changed not just how I see Toastmasters, but also how I see myself as a person. Is to aspire, to inspire, and to empower those around you. And this is a strong reason and purpose. If we have this in our hearts and in our lives today, we're able to help many people grow and become better versions of themselves. And then I moved on. So how or what did I do? I went on to charter my own club, which is Fusion Inspired Toastmasters Club. And the journey was mind-blowing. Why do I say this? Well, of course, it wasn't just about growing the club. It was about helping and watching new Toastmasters like you and me grow over time. Every meeting, you get to see speakers who are enthusiastic, who are passionate, who are able to become better each and every time. And that is something that I believe money can't buy. And so over just 4 or 5 years, this has changed. Toastmasters has given me this opportunity. And how that happens in Toastmasters is also the fact that you are able to have or able to be a mentor to others. So mentoring and coaching was two important points or important moments where I was able to coach, where I was able to mentor other new members to help them, to guide them and see them through this Toastmasters journey. And that is something that I believe will be my why for a very long time. Many a times it's about us. I want to be a better speaker. I want to learn from this. I want to get as much. But I have learned over time to understand and see that my why has grown beyond me. And it has grown beyond us, where we are able to give back. We are able to inspire others. We are able to passionately engage with people that we communicate with, people that we meet. And that's the beautiful part about being in Toastmasters for me. And with that, I want to also leave you. Leaders are those who always empower others. If you're out there, I want you to believe in yourself that you, no matter how new you are in Toastmasters, you are able to empower others as well. So in summary, my why, my answer to this question that just popped out along the week, which was my big why, to be a purpose-driven communicator who is able to connect. So I want to leave you with this question. What is your why in your Toastmasters journey? What do you aspire to be? Where do you see yourself down the road? Doing what? How is it that you're able to contribute at the end of the day? What is your why? And I would leave you with this quote. It says, your ability to communicate is an important tool in you pursuing your goals, whether it is work, your family, your co-workers, your clients, or your customers. And you will understand that when you are able to communicate effectively, it will contribute to you becoming an effective leader as well. I'm not saying that communication or effective communication is the only way to become a leader, but it is one of the ways that makes you a better leader. So if you're a father, you're a mother, you're a husband, you're a boss, you're a department head, or whatever that you are doing in your life right now, if you start to build your communication skills, or if you start to become an effective communicator, take steps towards being an effective communicator, you are naturally developing that leadership skills in you. And it goes hand in hand. With that, I want to thank you. It has been a rush to put this whole thing together within such limited time, because I believe that the why is much bigger than this. But thank you so much. I totally appreciate each and every one of you have spent your time tonight, because your time is priceless. And thank you for sharing this wonderful platform that we call Toastmasters together with me. So back to you, the Toastmaster of the day and MC, Joe Chung.
Thank you so much, Kish Vin. That was truly an inspiring sharing session about why. So ladies and gentlemen, share with us, share with Kish. Let us know your why. Why? All right? Why are you here? What are you looking for? What is the why in your life? All right? So at the same time, I believe, Kish, I know that because of time restriction, but you still reserve one question coming from Zoom and one question coming from Facebook for you, okay? So this is a Q&A session. So Vijaya, do you have any questions for Kish coming from the Zoom chats?
I have a question to Kish from Clement. How do we set our commitment or have a good work-life balance if we join Toastmasters?
Okay, that's a good question, right? How do we balance out? Now, how do we balance work-life balance when we join Toastmasters? That's a really good question. Now, being a person who's very involved, I run 6 companies. I am also involved in a lot of other organizations and stuff like that, and still had time to join Toastmasters is because, one, I believe that we can all make choices in life which are basically priorities. So I personally, for me, I can speak from my behalf, I felt that when I was able to prioritize that communication was important to me, I continued to put in time into that. So I saw that I needed to communicate. I needed to communicate well and become a leader. So I said, okay, let's put in more time for Toastmasters and less time for leisure or less time for sports. And that is how I manage my time. And I believe that it is something that is possible. And twice a month, I think, to just spend 2 hours is really, really something we can all work on, right? That's how I see it.
All right. Thank you so much, Kish. Thank you again to Vijaya for the question masters from Zoom. So because of time limitations, we're going to cut this short by a little bit. We shall move on to the next one. So Zoom Master, can you bring me to the next page? So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for still being here until right now. At this point in time, it's 10:11 p.m. So this is the final one. Please give us your feedback to the fellow speakers, because the speakers will really, really appreciate your constructive feedback in terms of how they can do better, or in terms of what do you really like about their sharing sessions.
Joe,
So take note. So here's...
sorry, Joe.
Yes, Kish.
Joe, I'm going to very quickly share one slide.
Yeah, sure.
And to those of them,
you stop sharing. Yes.
To those of you who are not Toastmasters, and I want to really encourage you to be part of this. This is the District 102 boot camp, which is RM 300 ringgit only. This is a special deal, okay? So it's a welcome gift, RM 85 if you join before the 14th of June, all right? What you get is 6 online workshops and 6 practical sessions, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to enroll you to a Toastmasters membership or a club, and so that you can get the practical sessions, and also you'll be able to have follow-ups and questions and stuff like that. So you have 6 online workshops, and these are fantastic workshops that are going to be planned by the district. I personally have benefited from it. It's really awesome. It starts from the 18th of June. It's on the 1st and 3rd Thursdays, 8 to 10 p.m. All right, so lock this down, 1st and 3rd Thursdays, 8 to 10 p.m. starting on the 8th of June. Today, it's 85 ringgit if you join by 14th of June. All right, so if you're out there, go for it. The booth camp is only 300. So if you want to find out more, you're going like, wait a minute, is this 300 or is it 85? Now, if you have a question, register with Sajni Dharamdas, the number's down there, or drop us a message and we'll be able to assist you with this booth camp. So thank you very much. Back to you, Joe.
Thank you so much again, Kish. So please remember the District 102 bootcamp. So just in case you miss out that part, don't worry. Later on, you can mention it in the chat channel again, and we will share you again the particular contact. But coming back here, so please provide us your constructive feedback to the fellow speakers, because the speakers will truly, truly appreciate it. And the reward of doing so, if you manage to do this feedback, so you will be receiving an email within the next 48 hours about the summary of the notes done by the speakers sharing throughout today's Speaker Fest. So this is totally free. All you need to do is just provide us your feedback on bit.ly/speakerfestfeedback, and you'll get this particular speaker sharing note for free emailing to you. All right.